Okay, Logan, you had a great run, but you are no longer the best movie I've seen this year. And with that, I'm welcoming you to another episode of the Romantic Tour. My goal, as always, is to enhance your movie watching experience. So, Dunkirk, this was my most anticipated movie of the year, mainly because of the guy behind the camera, Christopher Nolan, my favorite director, the best director in the business today. And once again, he delivers on something which is something different than what I actually seen from him. This is not a sci-fi movie. This is not a superhero movie. He's done with the Batman series, anything like that, or action thriller like an Inception. This is completely different. This is a war film, and it's even told differently than what we've seen. He normally tells his stories like. This movie is phenomenal. My favorite movie this year. I shouldn't be surprised by that. And this is a home run. Now, those who are not familiar with Dunkirk, which is pretty much everybody, because there's not a really well-known story here. There's actually, obviously, it's a part in a time in World War II. Dunkirk is the location of the northern part of France, in the beach near the Belgian border. There was about 400,000, that's right, 400,000 British and French soldiers kind of waiting to be rescued. And they had, Germany coming up through the mainland. But there's nowhere for them to go because and by the sea they were being bombarded by planes and U-boats and what have you. So they were kind of trapped there. So it's an interesting story that Nolan chooses to picture because it's something a little bit different that we see in things like Saving Private Ryan or last year in Hacksaw Ridge, where these were those stories focus on a turning point of the war. This isn't really like that. This doesn't have an effect on who wins or loses the war per se. In fact, the war continues for about another 5 years after the events of Dunkirk itself. And what Nolan does here is, again, he doesn't give you a main character to really follow here or main story thread. The main focus is on the actual events of Dunkirk, and he did that purposefully. What he does do, there is a lot of interesting characters here, but from three different perspectives. You have the land, you have the mole, which is by the beach area, and by sea. And he focuses on a couple of characters in each region and different time frames. So one starts off about a week before, one about an hour, the other one about a day before, and he tells the story. He's weaving it through. It kind of converge until they all finally meet together. It's an interesting way to tell this story. It's not conventional. Some people may not like them, might be confused about it, but I thought it was brilliant. But what Nolan really does, he really puts you on the shoes of the soldiers that are trapped. It is a story of despair and hopelessness here. These guys that can't find it. They try to get out by boat. They get bombarded. They can't go back to the land back in France. There's no one for them to go. And when Nolan does, he's brilliant. It's masterful directing work here, and I smell the Oscar nomination a mile away, and I hope he does get it this time around. I think he deserves it for this movie. It's such a grand scale what he does here, using mainly practical effects. You don't see it those days. He does it so well, and he builds that tension. This movie is about an hour and 45 minutes. And it goes by so fast because he never stops. The tension continues on and one scene to the next to the next. There's no real downtime here. Again, it's not a really character-focused story. This is about the action, the intensity that he brings to it. Man, people at the edge of the seats. There's times where people were actually, one particular scene at the end, people were actually clapping of how it came about. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's so well done, so captivating. You're not going to want to get up to go to the bathroom. There's so much to see here, and the tension that he builds, it's beyond anything I've seen recently. And what helps along is the score. Hans Zimmer, again, who he normally works with Nolan. They're like peanut butter and jelly. They go together so well. Nolan's great score. He uses particular kind of countdown clock ticking sound, which may sound like it could get annoying, but it doesn't. You only hear it at certain times. It ratchets up right before an action scene comes about, and it builds, letting you know, hey, something's going down here. And it's so much to see on screen. If you guys are gonna watch this movie, I'm telling you, you should watch this movie. Just need to find the biggest screen you can. I got the chance of seeing it as an IMAX, and the sound is phenomenal. But the sound engineering, by the way, is top notch in this movie. And this movie, to really get the full experience of what Nolan's trying to give you, this must be seen at the biggest screen you can find, or the best sound that you can find. He shot this movie, I think, 75% using the IMAX cameras, and it shows you the grand scales, the shots. This is an absolutely fantastic, enthralling movie. I can't recommend this enough. And we shouldn't be surprised that this is what Chris Nolan does. He hits it out of the park almost every single time, and this is no different. Believe the hype. This is one you definitely must watch. Dunkirk, you guys are going to check it out. You should. Let me know where you guys thought. As always, of course, if you haven't done so, please subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. And as always, don't forget to catch myself, my two co-hosts, Chewy and the Man Beast, at the Real Mentors podcast. Catch us on Pocket Bean, iTunes, etc., etc. We talk movies, TV, and have some fun along the way, because otherwise, What's the point? See you guys next time.